It's time to judge debate! The first thing I do when the debaters enter the room is I have a coin flip. You entered first, so you get to call the coin flip.
Heads.
It is heads. You get to make one of two decisions. You can either choose to argue pro or con. Alternatively, you can choose to argue first or second.
We choose to argue con.
All right, so the other team gets to make the other decision. You get to decide whether you would like to argue first or second.
We would like to argue second.
All right, the team that's speaking first, in this case the con team, set up to my left. The team that's speaking second, in this case the pro team, set up to my right. I need to put everybody's names and codes on my ballot. To make life easy, I'm going to have debaters write their names on the board. Debaters, please write your codes and your names in the order that you will be speaking. All right, so now that I've filled in my ballot, we are ready to get this debate started. Debaters, let me familiarize you with my hand signals. When you see 2 fingers, that means you only have 2 minutes left to speak. When you see 1 finger, that means you only have 1 minute left to speak. I will raise a fist when you have about 5 seconds left. When you see this fist, you need to wrap up your thoughts quickly. I'm going to take out my trusty timer so that I can keep track of how long you're talking, but I sure am going to make sure that I silence it. Speaker 1 starts the debate. Speaker 1, when ready.
I'm going to speak to you, the judge, for 4 minutes. I will likely be reading a prepared speech, and that's fine, but I should make an effort at eye contact. My goal is to outline my argument. As I speak, you'll want to take note of my main contentions. These are the main ideas I will be defending in this debate. I also might choose to define a few key terms. It's important that the resolution be clearly defined so that we're all agreed on what we're debating.
Once Speaker 1 finishes up, Speaker 2 can take the floor. Speaker 2, when ready.
I am also going to speak to you, the judge, for 4 minutes. I will also probably be reading a prepared speech. My goal is to outline my side of the case. Please take note of my main contentions as well. My team's success depends upon my ability to support and defend my contentions.
Once Speaker 2 finishes up, we move on to our very first crossfire. For the next 3 minutes, Speaker 1 and Speaker 2 will actively debate each other. Debaters can ask questions of each other and clash with one another's arguments. Debaters should avoid being rude during crossfire, but otherwise, anything goes. You, as the judge, only have the responsibility to cut that crossfire off after 3 minutes have elapsed. Speaker 1 will start the questioning.
Your second contention stated that you are better than me. Are you familiar with the 2009 report by the Pew Research Center that states that I am in fact better than you?
Question, question!
Argue, argue!
Once crossfire is over, it's time for Speaker 3 to take the floor. This speaker will have 4 minutes to speak. Speaker 3, when ready.
I'm going to attack my opponent's arguments and provide further support for my own. My goal is to dismantle my opponent's case and show that my case is superior. As you, the judge, listen to me speak. You should take note of whether I support my own contentions and provide specific arguments against my opponent's contentions. If you think I've spoken well or made a good argument, take note of it on your ballot. If you think I've stumbled, take note of that as well.
Now the other side gets to go. Speaker 4, your turn.
I am also going to speak for 4 minutes. Again, you should be listening to hear whether I effectively clash with and dismantle my opponent's contentions. You also want to hear me explain why my contentions are right. If some of my arguments are under attack, I should defend myself. On the ballot, let me know how you think I'm doing. Your feedback is valuable for me.
Now Speaker 3 and Speaker 4 get their turn at crossfire. Again, speakers can ask questions and argue with one another. The floor is theirs, but they do want to be civil. Speaker 3 will start the questioning.
During your speech, you told many stories, but this is only anecdotal evidence. Is there any empirical evidence in support of your claims?
Question, question!
Argue, argue!
We have now reached the part of the debate where Speaker 1 and Speaker 2 get to summarize their arguments. Debaters have just 2 minutes to sum up their main points and their main objections to their opponent's arguments. Speaker 1, when ready.
Actually, I'd like to take 30 seconds of prep time before speaking.
Ooh, compelling. Debaters are allowed to do this. Any debater can request any amount of time before they prepare to speak. Each side has 2 total minutes of prep time that they can allocate over the course of the debate. Speaker 1, your 30 seconds of prep time are up. Time for your summary.
Here, I will sum up my side of the argument. You want to hear me defend my main ideas, but not just repeat them over and over. I should be making a clear argument that not only sums up my case, but also dismantles my opponent's case.
Speaker 2, you may now present your summary.
I am also going to talk for 2 minutes and attempt to sum up my case. I object to parts of my opponent's case and in fact seriously question one of my opponent's sources. I'd like to see this Pew study she's repeatedly referenced.
Ooh, compelling. So this is brand new this year. Henceforth, debaters, during their own speaking time, can ask to see one of their opponent's sources. This should not serve to disrupt the overall flow of the debate. This debater will keep talking. During that time, the other team should find the relevant source from their binder and provide it within a reasonable amount of time. Hopefully not much longer than 30 seconds. The other team may look it over and choose to discuss it later in the debate. Debaters can only ask to see a source during their speaking time or their prep time, and the debate does not stop while the source is being found. Once Speaker 2 finishes their summary, we begin the grand crossfire. For 3 minutes, all 4 debaters have the floor. This can get intense. Speaker 1 will start the questioning.
Question, question.
Argue, argue.
Concern, concern.
Dispute, dispute.
Inquiry.
Rejection.
The debate concludes with speakers 3 and 4 putting forth their final focus arguments. This is their final attempt to convince you, the judge, that their side has won the debate. They cannot introduce any new evidence or contentions at this point. What they should attempt to do is sum things up and explain why their arguments were more sound. Speaker 3, you have 2 minutes for your final focus.
The con side is clearly the superior side in this debate. Thank you.
Speaker 4, you have 2 minutes.
The pro side is clearly superior in this debate. Thank you.
And with that, we're done. All debaters should shake hands. At this point, debaters can be excused from the room. It's time for you as a judge to decide who wins. Do not tell the debaters who wins. You fill in information about the winner on your ballot. So, when it comes to determining a victor, it's important to consider both quality of speaking and quality of arguments. Ask yourself, which side better supported their own arguments and did a better job of dismantling the other team's arguments? That's the team that you should proclaim the victor. Every one of your debaters needs to receive a score between 20 and 30. There's no gold standard for what, like, a 27 is. Really, the point is that every debater gets a sense of how they performed, and they get a sense of how close the debate was. Make sure that every debater gets a score, and it's very important that the winning team has a higher total score than the losing team. What's most important about judging, however, isn't the specific numbers you assign the debaters, it's your written feedback. Hopefully, over the course of the debate, you've been taking note of each team's strengths and weaknesses. Try to provide targeted feedback for each debater. Let them know what they've done well, and try to provide some constructive criticism. At the bottom of your ballot, be very clear about why you chose the team you did as the winner. Coaches share ballots with debaters over the course of the season to help them improve. So the more valuable feedback we can get, the better. Please do your best to share your feedback efficiently. You should not be providing feedback for more than 10 minutes after the end of the debate so we can keep things running smoothly. And with that, once you've filled everything out and made sure it gets back to the judges' table, you've judged yourself a debate.